you. As for your question, it's relatively simple. In military terms, it is so that Pakistan attempted to hit back on India with attack UAVs, with artillery missiles, even with ballistic missiles, and essentially this effort has failed because Indian air defenses have shot down the mass of incoming weaponry. And on the other hand, we have seen early on 10th of May, Indian Air Force striking not only Pakistan Air Force bases, but also the both entrances to the Pakistan nuclear weapon storage site at the Mushaf Air Base. This is a part of Sargodha complex. And the fact is, in the military, in the way the military understands warfare, when you start targeting enemy nuclear weapon storage sites, that means you are absolutely sure the enemy cannot hit back. And the reason the enemy cannot hit back, in this case, this enemy is Pakistan, is that you have managed to overpower enemy's defenses and then to block all the enemy attempts to hit you, in this case, India. Therefore, to strike an enemy nuclear weapon storage site is absolutely, evidence of Indian confidence that it cannot hit back, that Pakistan cannot hit back. And from this point of view, it's a clear-cut victory for India.
So let me ask you, India and Indian Defence Forces have so far given no confirmations on striking any nuclear storage sites. In fact, at a press conference by the Defence Forces, they even jokingly said they didn't know where these existed. I want to ask you, because there is a lot of chatter on radioactivity, there is a lot of chatter on social media, on speculation in Western media, on how the American planes actually landed there to take control of the radioactivity. How sure are we that we did damage some of their nuclear storage facilities?
There is a video clearly showing hits on entrances, on both entrances to this nuclear storage site, which means this has been confirmed, which means India has hit these entrances. So now, of course, Pakistanis, the few I've talked with, they say no, this has hit entirely, and so on and so on. But I have a strong feeling, if you want, that India is not shooting, wildly missiles around the place where there are nuclear weapons stored. So overall conclusion is, okay, New Delhi does not want to further escalate. And one should keep in mind, Indian generals in particular, that means the top brass of your armed forces, they are stolidly conservative. They are overcautious, actually, in comparison to what the Westerners are doing, what the Russians are doing. They are not playing with such places like nuclear weapon storage sites. That they wouldn't, let anybody randomly shoot missiles in that direction. This is a clear message. We can hit you, and we can hit you where it hurts. So, conclusion is simply unavoidable. Pakistan cannot protect its own nuclear weapon storage sites, and Pakistan cannot even protect its air bases. Therefore, India is in position of clear advantage. There is nothing else to add to this. What official New Delhi is then explaining in this regards, that is left to them, but facts are speaking for themselves.
Do you believe the radioactivity reports that have surfaced today?
I haven't studied them closely yet. I've been busy this morning, but point is this: whatever the radioactivity then explains, fact is that the nuclear storage site has been hit, not directly the storage site, but the entrance into the underground complex. It means that most likely the entrance and the exit to this storage site has been cut off. So whatever somebody is now explaining about this, that is, actually irrelevant, because what is relevant is what has happened inside that site. If the Pakistanis cannot enter the site, the storage site, if they cannot reach their nuclear weapons, if they cannot pull them out, put them to use, it's game over. It is as simple as that, really.
Game over. Well, we also have hit 13 Pakistani military targets, including air bases. How much do you think these air bases have been damaged? And do you think this is what brought Pakistan? The combination of the entrance of the nuclear site, the combination with that of the air bases being destroyed, is this what made Pakistan actually bow down and seek American intervention?
The fact is this: in order to hit a military base, whatever kind, you have to disable the enemy, in this case, Pakistan air defenses. Not only ground-based air defenses, but also the capability of the country in question to defend itself from airstrikes. So this means before hitting these military facilities, India has disabled Pakistani air defenses, ground-based air defenses, and then forced the Pakistani Air Force back away from the border in order to be able to send its own aircraft to the border, launch missiles at the Pakistani military bases. So that means that by the time what you have asked, a lot has happened already. And that means that India has already achieved an advantage in the air. Correspondingly, the fact, it doesn't matter how many bases have been hit, whether it's 11, 13, or something else. This fact alone means that Pakistan has already lost the air battle. So now, air bases as such are heavily fortified. Destroying an entire air base, you would need something like 50, 60, perhaps 100 hits on the same facility. As far as I know, this hasn't happened. But what has happened was that Indian Air Force has hit selected points at selected air bases. For example, hangar, where one of Saab 2000 AWACS aircraft was undergoing maintenance. And inside this hangar, it has killed 5 Pakistani Air Force officers and other ranks and injured 40 others, plus damaged the aircraft. This is what matters. So this is one example where we know specifics because one of Pakistani officers involved has reported it on the social media. We don't know what kind of damage has been caused in most of other cases, but we know that, for example, a C-130 transport was destroyed at Nur Khan Air Base and so on and so on. Again, details are going to be revealed over the time. But what matters is that Indian Air Force was free enough to strike these bases, and Pakistan couldn't do the same to India. This means Pakistani deterrent has failed and Pakistani air defenses have failed. And this is, what has then forced Pakistan eventually into sounding a ceasefire, which means there is a hotline between Islamabad and New Delhi, and Pakistani Director General of Military Operations made a call over this hotline and requested a stop of fighting. You don't need more details in order to know what is going on. This is perfectly enough to conclude, okay, Pakistan admitted its defeat, it admitted it cannot continue escalating, it must stop. Or actually, India must stop. So Pakistan has requested India to stop. What American or Western politicians and mass media are reporting in this regard is absolutely irrelevant, because what matters is that Pakistan requested the call. Pakistan made a call and requested the stop. And it wouldn't do so. Pakistanis are not, somebody who is going to bow like this and simply admit, we have been defeated. This is nothing they are doing usually. So therefore, conclusions are de facto on hand. You have Pakistani nuclear weapons facility hit by Indian missiles. You have a number of Pakistani air bases hit by Indian missiles, and Pakistani Director of Military Operations calling New Delhi to stop.
Absolutely, that's all that matters. Prime Minister Modi, in his address to the nation yesterday, said that there is a doctrine shift that India has undertaken.
Yes.
Direct retaliation against terrorism, no more strategic restraint, rejection of nuclear blackmail that Pakistan has always held, not just to India but to the world, and no distinction between state and non-state actors. Because we've seen in these airstrikes and the manner in which India has attacked Pakistan, that the terror camps and the Pakistani army have very, very close links. The fact that state funerals were given.
Yes.
And you've said in one of your articles, don't play with us, we can hit you where it hurts, is the message. Do you think this is a paradigm shift in the doctrine?
Of course it is. It is a fundamental shift in doctrine. So far, I mean, look at the situation. Since 2008 alone, Pakistan has launched over 120 terrorist attacks into India. We've seen attacks on the parliament in New Delhi. We've seen this terrible tragedy in Mumbai. And every time Pakistan came away from it, without actually being hurt. This time it was hurt really badly. And one should keep in mind there is no state and non-state actors. They are so closely intervened in Pakistan. The inter-service intelligence, which is a military intelligence service of Pakistan, it is de facto commanding, controlling, not only financing, organizing, and arming the terrorism. So if you hit the jihadists, you hit the ISIS as well. It's as simple as that again. When India says no more restraint, we are going to hit back if you do this again, it is a clear message. Guys, sorry, but you went too far, and enough is enough. If you do this again, you are going to get hit exactly in the same fashion like on 9th and 10th of May. Ideal solution from Indian point of view. Now let's see if Pakistan is going to learn its own message. That's the question.